shorts, an England football shirt and an Angry Birds hat. Now I haven't seen one of those myself, and it sounds like a really must-have deal. She's also wearing a Bomber Harris enclosure pass, so if the parents or guardians or people who are accompanying that little girl would they please report to the missing persons tent, which is behind the air traffic control tower, then we can reunite you with the poor lost little girl, 7.5 years old, camouflage shorts, an England football shorts, Angry Birds. Please go to the missing person tent now. Wow, fantastic stuff. I think alongside the stage. But Merlin gets in the air first of all. A Mark II there.
Indeed, I think it's the first time we've seen the Mark II from the Royal Navy displaying, at least here at Waddington. That'll be coming back shortly, but it's Tucano to display first. Naval Air Squadron at Royal Naval Air Station Culdrose in Cornwall. And that unit acts as the conversion unit for the Royal Navy Merlin force.
Yes, and they were telling us earlier, Ben, that of course that is the only unit at the moment that has the Mark II, and they say it's quite a handful to get to know, not just the airframe, but actually all the software and the technology that's on board, which has really brought it up to speed. And commanding the aircraft today is the 824 Naval Air Squadron 2HI, and that is Lieutenant Ben Morgan. Now, an interesting history, of course, this wasn't again, this mix up in collaboration with the Agusta Westland, developing into what was at the time the European helicopter industry. Of course, that's got developed within Agusta itself and eventually taken over. But this is over. Have a particularly easy start either, I seem to remember. There were a number of rather nasty occurrences and incidents.
Very much established in service though now, George, and this Merlin HM2, as it's designated, one of the upgraded aircraft, Lockheed Martin leading that particular systems upgrade, which will soon permeate through to the frontline force. Very potent sub-hunting helicopter. Merlin's dropped sonobuoys into the ocean.
The Stingray in Afghanistan is very much supporting the similar duties to those which you know. Now, alongside them today is Lieutenant Andy Bird, and he's also on the fourth floor. They're bringing it back now into slowing it down to a hover, no doubt just put the wheels on the deck, and you can see what a very, very large helicopter this is.
There are 8 Merlins on the strength of 824 Naval Air Squadron. The side door being open. Do give the crewmen in the door a wave. They will appreciate it. Hard and hot work out there today at Waddington.
And in the rear of the fuselage we have a couple of very useful men. Ben mentioned all those weapons that this aircraft is capable of carrying and the enemy it can engage with. So on board is Lieutenant Martin Young. He's the aviation warfare officer, and he's also an instructor on 824 Squadron. But helping him is Petty Officer Air Crewman Williams, who is the anti-submarine warfare officer as well. So quite a fighting component, not just at the front end, but in the back of the cockpit as well.
And here's another demonstration of some of the training that 824 would undertake, because the Merlins aren't just anti-submarine and anti-piracy helicopters, they can undertake rescue missions as well.
Absolutely right, and indeed it's young air crewman Williams, who spent a huge amount of time out in the Middle East, but also just recently returned from an 8.5-month deployment on anti-piracy control in the Indian Ocean off the coast of Somalia.
naval Merlin ships, including search and rescue, as we see being demonstrated to some extent here. They've got 8 aircraft on the squadron, and it's a 44-week training course undertaken by not only the trainee pilots, but also the trainee observers and air crewmen.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it, how the complexity of the internal machinations of these machines these days is giving the extra training time requirements. In the old days, of course, the conversion time was relatively short, but 44 weeks is an enormously long time, and that's,
If you want to get up close with a couple of Merlins, you can find them on the